2. That's video 2. I have no idea where the short stopped. I think so I'm just going to have to start all over. So this is the second or third time that I've tried recording this, and I keep throwing away the videos, but I know now I'm supposed to record my story, my life. I don't know why. Because the things that's happened to me, I don't know. But let's start from the beginning again, because I have no idea what you guys have seen or heard, and I guess I'll figure that out later. And I'm not going to cut it, and I'm not going to whatever. I'm just starting it from the beginning. You know, I'm driving home from Ubering in my Jaguar, beautiful red Jaguar that's a gift from Spirit. Driving from Ubering, and I can't figure it out because who knows? I don't know. I made $4 an hour tonight. I started with $75 after putting gas in my car twice. I put 40 in my tank twice, or 20, and yeah, I don't even want to think about it. So I guess I won't be doing this anymore until I move to a town and not drive from Sherman and figure it out, because I'm wasting gas. I'm wasting my time because I'm getting evicted. Yay! Has that happened to any of y'all? You know, I had larger aspirations for myself, and I am not sure what happened. My children don't talk to me. My mother doesn't talk to me. People seem to love me until they get to know me. They used to love me whenever I was the fake Angela. I guess that's why I liked being the fake Angela. The one that didn't give a fuck about anything or anybody. Well, that's not me anymore, because life has shown me. Gosh, I was on such a roll whenever the other thing. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So I want to start out by saying that I'm not putting any hashtags in this. The main point of this is I was a spiritual seeker. I was a seeker of knowledge, a seeker of truth. My sister, I also want to say that all the names, with the exception of a couple of names in this, will be changed in order to protect the innocent. Actually, I think I have to protect the innocent and not give anybody's real names, because I could get sued if this book goes anywhere. So all the names they'll all be changed in order to protect the innocent, because there are some in this story that aren't that innocent, including me, until now. But they always say what comes around goes around. So no hashtags. Those of you that come across this story will be the ones that want to hear it. It is about spiritual seeking. It's about the truth. It's about awakening. And this is about why you shouldn't do it unless you were called to do it for some reason, like I was. I had to know the truth, because that's how my brain works. People ask me, or people will tell me how to do something, and I've got to know why, I've got to know how it works, and I've got to know what's the point. Anyway, one thing about it, whenever I tell these stories, it makes my drive home so much quicker. Where do I start now? You know, I don't even start. The last one I started with, so I'm in Sherman, Texas. I'm divorced. I've been divorced now 3 times. 4 times. 4 divorces. Yeah, and fell in love one time. And he absolutely broke my heart. He was the only man that I ever fell in love with. I loved all the other ones, and I thought I was in love, but with him, I fell fucking in love. They say that we mirror ourselves. They say that every person that we meet is a mirror, and the things that we love about that person are the things about us that we wish we could put out there, or we wish something. It's within us, and we don't know how to let it show. And so essentially I fell in love with myself, which is really hard for me to grasp, because what he was doing was he was mirroring me. He was a narcissist, just like my mother was a narcissist, just like all my ex-husbands were narcissists. They put on a front until they catch you. Then once they catch you, they try to change you. See, I'm a free spirit. I cannot be tamed and I cannot be changed. That's one of the reasons why my mother and my 2 children are not talking to me, which in essence is keeping my 2 grandchildren, who I love more than anything except for my dog, away from me, because they think that I'm dangerous, I guess, because someone hacked into my car. Someone, I know who it was, and he will be turned into the authorities, and he's going to be prosecuted. He will be, because karma. But, you know, it's like, what he's done to me is, you know, it's like I think, has he done it, or have I caused it to see? Because what I've come to learn in all of this is I've come to learn that we have chose this life. We chose this life, and the people that are in our life are our soul families. And everyone in our life has come together before we were born, or before everyone was born, up there, or out there, or in a different dimension, let's see, some people call it our, can't think of what it is, not our higher self, can't think of what it is. I'll think about it later, I'll remember the word. But this, outside of this realm, makes all these decisions of how things are going to be, and before we're here, our soul decides what it wants to learn while it's in this realm. And within that, we discuss it, we decide, we take our parts, and that's who we are. And there's certain things which, to me, there's no such thing as coincidence. For example, the man that I fell deeply, deeply in love with. I was headed to San Antonio one night, and far in the distance, I saw the number 12 on a barn. And whenever I turned around and looked again, the 12 was gone. But whenever I see things like that, I know I'm not crazy. I know what I see. I pay attention. And the reason that I pay attention is because I have what has scientists or psychologists or psychiatrists or whoever the fuck, Western medicine, has labeled people like me with borderline personality disorder, on the edge of narcissism, because my mother was a narcissist. And what that means is we weren't treated with love and respect and nurtured as we were children. So we pay and other people call it an empath. And what that is we pay very, very close attention to our surroundings, because we understand that our surroundings can change the way people react around us, at us, on us, or above us, below us, whatever. So we pay close attention to their moods, the surroundings, anything and everything. And once you get a little mental, like I have, with PTSD, and you've been screwed over and all kinds of things, you've screwed people over. I'm not perfect by any means. These days, yeah, I don't hurt people anymore, not intentionally, unless they have done what the person's done to me, and I'll tell you about that later. And I'm not going to hurt him, it is going to be intentional, because I'm turning him in. And he screwed up. He screwed up bad doing what he's done, because I'm not an idiot. But anyway, that's a different story for a different time. You know, gosh, I don't know, I'm kind of at a loss now. You know, I always thought, I remember my mother, who doesn't talk to me now, I sent her a text the other day and said, Mom, I love you. I want to come see. I didn't tell her I wanted to come see her, because I didn't figure she won't respond. She's done. My oldest sister, has been turning her against me because she wants to steal my inheritance. She can fucking have it. Everything that Daddy works for and stuff. Because see, I understand things that she doesn't get, and she's always been jealous. And I'll tell you what she told me one time and something happened to me, and I'll tell you that's part of the book. But after this happened, she said that my sister, the one that hung herself, this is kind of a quick overview, that the one that hung herself trumped us all. And whenever she told me that, I knew that she was jealous, she was angry, and she was out for blood. which I don't understand because that's not how I am. Now, I've been out for blood whenever I was younger, but now, see, I understand that people that do the things like that, like what the person that has tried to ruin my life and has got me evicted, maybe, I wonder about that. That's another thing I'll tell you about later. People that do bad things, people that are addicted, they're looking for that dopamine rush. They're looking for the dopamine. They're looking for something that's missing within them. And so that's where the addictions come in, the sexual addiction, money, buying. I can tell you I am an organizer also. Organizer, an interior designer, interior decorator. I prefer decorating because designing is too much work. I would love it, but yeah, it takes too long. I would probably design my own house, but interior, anyway, okay. One of the women that I work for, and everyone I notice that I organize for, they have everything. They have too much, and it's exactly because they're looking to fill a void. They're looking to fill a void that we are taught is missing within our lives. But see, I've learned that we're not missing. We are whole. We are just taught that we're not whole. Whenever we're children, we're taught as children that we can't do this and we can't do that. But see, we can. We can do everything that Jesus Christ, Yeshua is his name. We can do everything that Yeshua did and more. If you've read the Bible, you just must believe. And you must pray in a manner knowing that your prayers have been answered. And I can tell you that every single prayer I've ever prayed in my entire life has been answered. It may not be answered in the manner that I expected it or even wanted it, but I can look back through my life and everything I've wished for and everything I've prayed for has always come true. My dog example, he's 20 years old and he is still bumping along. You know why? Because I speak his good health over him. My vehicle is bumping along. You know why? Because I speak good maintenance over her. I am bumping along. Sometimes I wish I was in my sister's situation, I have to say, but I'm too chicken. I'm too chicken. I'm not going to do it. I'll never do it. But I've thought about it in many ways. I've thought about hanging. I've thought about cutting my wrists. I've thought about being in the bathtub, letting myself bleed out. I've thought about cutting my neck open. I thought about blowing my head off like Scott Jeffries did. But you know, one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to do that to Griffin. Because nobody would take care of Griffin. Nobody wants him except for me because he's my child. And I would never do that to him twice. See, abortion, I'll tell you what they do to anyone that ever gets pregnant and you don't know. And I have a sister-in-law, she's done it 8 times. They don't put you to sleep. I was 17. I looked at that child because I was 4 months pregnant and I knew what I was doing and I had to know who that child was. And I didn't think that I would ever get to have a baby again because God blessed me with 2 beautiful children. I looked at that beautiful little boy bundled up in my stomach. I can see him now in my head. I have a picture of him in my head. And then they took a vacuum cleaner and they vacuumed him out of my body. And I could hear him going into the vacuum cleaner. Anyone that ever does that is fucked up. It fucks you up. My sister-in-law, or ex-sister-in-law, who's done it 8 times, she never had children. She doesn't get to. She has no right. She's killed 8. In our society, the left, the Democrats, think that abortion is okay up until, like, the baby is born or something. What the fuck? It's a life. The minute the sperm and the egg separate, that's the life. But in case you did not know it, we are in the days of Revelation. We are in, I think it's the 400 reign of Satan or evil. This is it, babe. But I've got good news. And the good news is that reign is ending. And I think it maybe has already come to an end, but we just have to let it all fall out. Because we reached the age of Aquarius in October, I believe it was October of 2024. And so that means, what that means is the patriarchal age is over. And the matriarchal age is coming. Now, if any of you are familiar with history, and I don't know where I heard this, but the matriarch ages, all the societies that were run by women, the matriarchal age, there was no war. Things flourished. People were happy. It was beautiful. Everybody lived together happily. It wasn't all about work and money and fucking fighting and wars and all this bullshit and killing. That time is over. The age of Taurus is when that was. Taurus, my son was born in Taurus, is a Taurus. That's an interesting story. Let me tell you that story. So my children's father and I have one baby daddy, as people call it. My children's father and I were swingers because I decided that I liked women, and he decided that he liked the idea of his beautiful wife being with other women. And he also liked being with the women that his beautiful wife picked up more than he liked being with his wife. That sucks. Don't swing. It ruins marriages. For 2 years we swang and I never got pregnant. The girl that I met that I fell in love with, and I won't tell you her name, she's remarried now. She told me, she said, you need to go to the doctor. If you haven't gotten pregnant and you're on birth control, or not on birth control, you need to go to the doctor. And I did go, and I found out that my fallopian tubes were so clogged that I was told by this old man, he was in his 60s probably. I'm 58 writing this book at this point, or telling this story. I was told, get a hysterectomy. You're never going to have another child. Your fallopian tubes are so clogged with endometriosis that ink will not even go through them. And we have lots up here, so I'm going to have to put it down here. Look, you can see where we're headed. Sorry, that just kind of took my thoughts on. Okay, so I was told this, that because I had a cone biopsy, I had cancer. I had cancer that was almost in my body. Like my grandmother died of cancer. Well, I had the same sort of cancer. It was uterine cancer. But it wasn't full cancer in my body yet, but it was cancerous cells that were turned into it. So they did what's called a cone biopsy, and they went in there, and I guess they scraped a cone-sized chunk out of me. So I didn't think I was going to get, I don't remember what happened. Anyway, I don't remember. Maybe I had the cone biopsy and then went 2 years. I don't remember what happened. What. Maybe that was after the fact. I don't know. But anyway, I was told, you're never going to have another child. Get a hysterectomy. And I was like, no. I'm not. I'm like 28. And so, like, maybe 30. I don't know exactly how old I was. The next year, I end up pregnant. Oh, but I had to tell the most important part. So I go home and I'm like drugging it up, drinking, doing coke, doing tons of good coke. Oh, by the way, this may give some people PTSD or the EBGBs, because there's a lot of drug talk in here, because I did a lot of drugs. Still do drugs on occasion. But anyway, continuing on. I went home shocked, because I always wanted to have 2 children. I wanted to have the perfect son and the perfect daughter. Well, I already had the perfect daughter. I thought I was going to have a boy first. It was supposed to be like that. The oldest boy, then the girl. That was our perfect family. Ken and Barbie, that's what this one lady called me and the kid's dad, Ken and Barbie, because we both were beautiful. I didn't even realize I was until later. The girl that I fell in love with, she used to tell me, people would stare at you whenever you go into a place, people stare at you. But it wasn't my beauty that they stare. It's something different. There's something inside of me that draw people to me, and I'm not sure what that is, and I'll tell you about that later. So I went home, and this was whenever I believed, and I still believe, don't get me wrong, I believe the Bible. But I believe you must be very careful in the Bible. In order to read the Bible, in order to understand the truth of the Bible, you must be a scholar. You must know the words, because one word changes the entire meaning of a sentence, which could change the entire meaning of a paragraph, which could change the entire meaning of a paragraph, a book, a story, whatever. So unless you are a Hebrew scholar, don't take it on. So many people do, and they said it's okay. No, it's not okay. I don't read the Bible. If you're interested, I can tell you there is a Hebrew scholar that I would highly recommend. He's no longer with us. Rest his soul. Surprises me, but I think it's because of the books he wrote. Dr. Michael Heiser. Dr. Michael, Hiser. You can barely find him now on YouTube. He wrote something called Angels and Demons. Dr. Michael Heiser speaks against the common whatever, the evil that wants to suppress people like me. He speaks against I don't know, shit, I can't think of the word. That's why he's dead, I know it is. Because of the books he wrote about the Bible is a spiritual book. The Bible is about magic, and the Bible is magic, and the books that speak of magic, like the book of Enoch, and the book of John, and the book of Mary Magdalene, all those books, the Nag Hammadi texts were not put in the original canon, but luckily we just happened to find a whole bunch of them in the Nag Hammadi desert, or Nag Hammadi. It's a Nag Hammadi library, Nag Hammadi text that speaks of the truth and speaks of who we really are and what we are capable of. Not the canon, not the Bible. In fact, in this, whenever someone told me this, I was appalled, because see, I was raised in the Church of Christ, and I went by the Bible literally. That's how I was taught. And I also was taught that if you didn't go to the Church of Christ, you were going to hell. And I think everybody believes that. And guess what? Oh, by the way, there is no hell. There's no hell. That's something made up to control the masses, because you got to keep them under control if you're going to suppress them, unlike our Creator. But I'll finish that another time. The God in the Old Testament is not the creator of the universe. The God in the New Testament, I believe, is. The God in the Old Testament is not. And whenever I was first told that by it, she was a very good friend of mine. Most friends come for a season, I've learned, until they fuck you over because you don't know how to choose the right people, or they teach you the lessons that you need to learn. And I guess with her, it was supposed to be forgiveness. She hasn't learned her lesson yet, as far as I know. Which hers was forgiveness also, and it was forgiving herself. I've forgiven myself. That's how come I'm able to tell this story and talk the way I'm talking about my family not wanting me. It's heartbreaking, but what do you do? I'm here for a reason, or I would be dead. And so maybe this is just all a part of the story, but everybody thinks I'm crazy, and I don't care. I've even started saying I'm crazy. I guess I shouldn't do that. Anyway, where was I at? Cayman. Oh, shit. That's not my son's name. That was Kristen Cayman. Anyway, hey, man. He's my son. If you get that. I'm not cutting this out. I'm posting this. I'm posting it as it is. So I'm going to try not to use my family's name. But he hasn't done anything wrong. He's a beautiful, beautiful person. He may not appreciate some of this if it gets around to him, but it's the truth, and this is my story. And he doesn't appreciate me anyway because I tried to sell drugs to his friends. The good time, psilocybin, that's good for your brain. I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. Anyway, apparently he did. He didn't like it. He's sick of me. He didn't want to talk to me anymore. Anyway, continuing on. That's okay. He's in a different life right now. Whenever I was told you can't have children, I came home and I opened up the Bible because I was taught that you read the Bible. If you want God to do anything for you, you study His Word, you pray, you study. And so I opened it up, and I opened it straight up, which I didn't know the Bible, and I sure didn't know I don't even know what chapter this is in. I have to Google it every time I want to find out what chapter it's in. But I do know her name. Her name was Sarah, and she was old, like 80 or something, old and barren. And she wanted a baby. She wanted a son. And so she prayed to God, and I believe this is in the Old Testament. So the God that she prayed to was not the God of the universe that created this universe. The God that she prayed to is a different name. I'm supposed to be taking a break in my car. The God that she prayed to, I'll have to tell you his name. It's the Gnostic God, the God of the Old Testament, the jealous God, the God that wants to keep us imprisoned. She promised him her son. I prayed to the same God, not knowing any better, and I promised her my son. I promised this God my son. I did not realize what I was doing whenever I did it. I was tricked. And my son is of this world. Both of them didn't have a chance, really, because their mother-in-law, who is no longer with us, which now she knows, I guess, if it was good or bad or whatever, or if it's something that they wanted. Now only she knows. She baptized him into the most worst demonistic, I guess, if that's a good word, satanic cult that I'm aware of. And I'll be very, very open. It's the Catholic Church. Because she was raised like most Catholics want you to be. They start you out when you're young and they put you in what's called catechism, and then they brainwash you into believing their lies. But if you notice, there's popes in the past that wear red shoes. The red shoes has something to do, and you'll have to do your research on this, but it has something to do with how many children you've molested or eaten or skinned or something, because that's what they do. And it all has to do, just like in the Old Testament, to the same God, and I can't think of what his name is now. But it's the same. Nothing's ever changed. The only thing that's changed is we drive around different cars. We live in buildings that suck, that aren't made of stone, that helps repair us or makes us feel any better. And we're taught that stones and astrology and all the stuff that the Creator made of the universe, the Creator of the universe made, is bad. And I realized that a long time ago. I realized, you know what? How can something be bad if the Creator made it? That just doesn't make sense. And then I just started opening up more and more and more to the lies that we were told by the God of the Old Testament. Now, if you've ever noticed how the Old Testament and the New Testament differ quite much, if that's a word. The God of the New Testament, Yahweh, I believe, is Yahweh. The Holy Spirit, I don't know. But I know that we're all one. I know that God lives in me. I know that I am God. I know that I am God experiencing this life, this thing, all this shit, these choices. And it makes sense to me, you know, because I like go back and as I think about what I'm going through right now, and my kids not wanting anything to do with me, Griffin staying here with me. Griffin, did I finish telling you the story about Griffin? Oh, Griffin is that boy that I aborted. It's him. Griffin's here now. He didn't get the chance to be with me because he had to be that baby, but he is here with me. And he is here, and I've had him for 20 years, and I feed him an all raw diet. And the brand, and I will tell you, is called a Primal raw dog food. And I make his own treats, and now he's gotten so old that I feed it maybe once a day, not more than once a day, maybe once every other day. And now since he's gotten older, he gets special. He's so spoiled. He gets oatmeal with butter and honey, and I make him carrots and beets and olive oil for dinner, and I put spirulina on it, and I give him milk thistle. He eats as good as I do, or better. My baby. Oh shoot. Anyway, I'm almost home, and so I guess this is chapter 1. I feel like the first time I did it, it was like more, not so random, but this was very random, but it is what it is. Oh, I think this is actually chapter 2. That's why I had the 2 in front of my hand. But I'm almost home, the place I'm getting evicted from. I guess it was something I wanted, or maybe it was something that Ted did little, and I just almost used another. Anyways, something that somebody else wanted. I don't know. Who knows? I'll get into that more later. But adios. I hope this helps somebody that's needing to hear this, to know that. I hope it helps you, because I know that I have so much and looked for something to help me get through this, and I am here, and I'm through it, and things are good. And tonight I got 2 free donuts. I've been eating a lot of sugar because I kind of said fuck it on all the spiritual shit and all that bullshit that's out there, all those videos and everything that are meant to confuse. This is the raw truth. This is my experience. This is not meant to confuse anyone. I wonder if that is not my apartment. I hope I didn't just pass my apartment. No, I don't think it is. Okay, all right, good night.